Ladies and gentlemen, glad to see you. Today we are going to discuss fundamental analysis on a blue chip stock in the Malaysian stock market, analysis and evaluation made by stock valuation calculator. Next we are going to pick one example is Group Investment Holding, the blue chip group companies in Malaysia. So we pick 5 companies based on the market caps. So historically we run down from 2011 until today. So we come up with the rank. First is Time Derby, followed by Genting Malaysia, and next is PTB Group. So you see we put also growth, the top line growth of the 5 companies. You see their all in average growth is less than 5%, the highest being PTB Group, followed by YTL, and then Time Derby. And then 2 companies, Genting and IOI, even in the negative growth in the year 2013. So let's see the valuation of each stocks. You see in this table we have 2 tables. The table above with mark PH, meaning valuation high band or high value of the intrinsic value. So if you check the 5 companies, we put also in the last column, delta means the differences between valuation, intrinsic value, and its current price. So we come up with the number above 100 and number delta below 100. Above 100 means the price is still undervalued, or the intrinsic value or true value of the stock is higher than the current price. If you see Genting Malaysia, IOI, and then Time Derby is above 100% for the high value. But how about table below? PL is meaning valuation for the low value. If we check together, the number or delta above 100% is only Time Derby. Genting Malaysia and then IOI Corporation is, especially IOI Corporation, is negative value, and Genting Malaysia is far below the current price, 10,000. So next we are going to check why made the valuation according to stock valuation calculator, and how can the number or the true value be negative. So before we discuss in detail, we will show you how the valuation, how stock valuation works. So basically we are taking all the numbers from the financial report quarterly. So we analyze and evaluate each quarter of each stocks. So we can get from KLSE or we can get from the official company website. All number will be analyzed or time or 12 months. So we see the basic parameter is profit and loss, cash flow, and balance sheet. Also we add up auditor note. So from those parameters we come up with a free cash flow and surplus or deficit balance sheet. especially for free cash flow. We will project based on the top line growth compare with average industry growth, and we have a risk-free government bond yield as a indicator. And then after our formulation, we come up with the two numbers, high intrinsic value and low intrinsic value. So how we display the intrinsic value compared to the price? So we take a sample of Genting Berhad. You see in this chart, the line in green represent the intrinsic value high, and line in red represent intrinsic value low, and in between is the current price, or the price or historical price from 2011, 2012 and today. So this chart can be replicated for each stock in the stock market, and we usually show or display in quarterly basis. So the 1 year we have a 4 quarters, and then we can display historically, let's say for the last 5 or 3 years by quarter, so we can get display of the historical intrinsic value and historical price as well. So we compare a value and a price at the same time. So we display it for each stocks and then update it daily based on the government bond yield, which is changed every day. So this is our indicator, the macroeconomic indicator, to determine our next value or to predict our next value. We also can display as a simulation. So the user, based on our determined parameter, we have 9 parameter: revenue growth compared to industry average, government bond, capital expenditure, net profit after tax, long-term debt, intrinsic value discount, or we can call the margin of safety based on the terms of the Benjamin Graham. We have short-term debt, listed stock, numbers of stock outstanding, and dividend. So the user can move this bar, and then value will change automatically. The user can move more than one bar, or they can move all the bars as they wish, or they can type manually in this box. They can put any number in this box. So the next it will show in this chart, something like that. So for illustration, we pick Indonesian stock Astra International, which is also blue chip stock. So we illustrate as if it appear in the Wall Street Journal website. So this stock valuation chart side by side with the price chart, and also information about the current price, the movement, and also, well, there's some information you can click in this website, something like that. So let's go back to the Malaysian blue chip stock. So in this table we show you historical parameter of Genting Berhad, we see revenue, we see asset, we see price, we see intrinsic value, gross profit, and then parameter in the balance sheet, and also financial ratio, right? Return on equity, profit margin, dividend, debt equity, and etc. So if we check Genting Berhad, the current price or the historical price, the highest one from 2011 compared to the value is higher or overvalued. It is a closing by end of December 2011. So the number of the intrinsic value show a big gap. The low side, the lower side is 1600, and the highest side is almost 11,000. The same year after 2012, the lowest is being 6,005, and then highest is 16,005, and today 2013 the value drops from 16,000 to 14,000. Actually today the price is lower than the value, so that's we call it the undervalue. But the lowest valuation is much lower, is still below 5,000. The value dropped because of the growth of the top line drops. Gross profit, earning after tax also dropped. Capex reducing, which is one of a good thing. Capex reducing. Free cash flow reducing. But in the balance sheet they are stronger. You see 2011 compared to 2012. 2011 has a surplus of balance sheet or a liquidation value 9 million, 9.7, and is all in the Malaysian ringgit. And then year after 2012 is 18.8, but drop in the 2013 is 16.7. If you see the return on equity dropped significantly from 30%, today only 7%. Profit margin maintain, even reducing from 26%, now is 20. Gross margin also dropped a little. Debt equity is good. So it's a good thing is that equity ratio, net profit margin. The bad things is negative growth, low return on equity, return on asset also low. And we can see very clearly that's too much long-term debt. Long-term debt compared to short-term is more than double. So that's why net current asset only 23. Total debt is more than 21. So there is a negative liquidation. So for this Genting Berhad, even though the high value is considered undervalue, so there is still room for price to grow, but the lower value is much lower, is half of the current price. So the suggestion for this company, if they want to improve their performance, their valuation, they must pay off the long-term debt, because long-term debt make the valuation of low band drop significantly, or much lower than the current price, or much lower than the highest band. So next we see the time derby. We see historically what's a good thing is a debt equity ratio below 1, working capital surplus, liquidation also surplus 24 billion, and then net current asset around 30 billion something. Capital expenditure lower than earning after tax, which is good, even though the free cash flow deficit, but small deficit, it doesn't matter because they have a strong balance sheet. Net profit margin is very low, below 10. Gross margin now also 9%, profit margin only 7%. So the case of the Sime Derby, despite they have a strong balance sheet, they have very low profitability. So to improve, they have to improve their profitability. Next is we discussing about IOI, Corporation Berhad. We see also historically, we check good things. They have a high ROE. ROA also quite good. Debt equity below 1. They also have working capital in surplus. Liquidation have a deficit, but not well. Deficit is quite significant. According to stock valuation, there are a huge long-term debt and also negative growth, negative 18%. Also, we find out high capital expenditure above the earning after tax. So, according to stock valuation, huge long-term debt, negative growth, and high capital expenditure are the main factors of the decreasing in value. So our suggestion is the company must first pay off the long-term debt to improve their performance, because if you see the total asset and then spending on the capital expenditure not too high, even it's a bit higher than the earning after tax, they actually no need to spend so much debt in their pocket. They have to pay off aggressively in order to improve the performance. Next, we see YTL. If we see, they also negative value compared to intrinsic in high band, much above the current price, the highest point. But how about the negative thing? Let's see a good thing. We don't see a good thing in this financial performance. Debt equity too high, very low margin, negative growth, huge capital expenditure is almost double than earning after tax, and the significant point is the long-term debt is very high. It is almost 4 times the net current asset. So the company or the stock performance must be improved by paying off the debt, increase profitability by doing some development in the product market and the business. So next, we also pick up some blue chip from KLSE. So we rank based on industry, finance, infrastructure, manufacture, technology, trading, and utility. So we check about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there is 11 company. Sorry, 10 company. We show the prospect by showing the intrinsic value compared with the price, and we come up with the delta. So the delta number above 100, we have 5 companies. We have 5 companies: CIMB, RSB, Petronas, Gamuda, Petronas Chemical, and Axiata. Also we have Petronas Dagangan, Tenaga Nasional, and YTL. Okay, only 2 are overvalued. Telkom Malaysia have a negative valuation. CIMB price is already above the valuation. This is the high side. How about the lower side, the low band intrinsic value? We check only 3 companies having value above the price or undervalue, which is Petronas Gas, Petronas Chem, and Petronas Dagangan. So the group of Petronas, they have intrinsic value above the market price on the high side or on the low side as well. We also mark in red arrow RHB Capital. In the high side, the value is much or 180% above the current price, but they have negative valuation low band. This is the same thing as we discussed previously in these other companies. We can predict, or we can check later, that long-term debt must be very high. So RHB, according to our stock valuation, has potential risk on the debt structure, unlike a CIMB. So unsound or unsupportive debt structure will cause the drop in the value of the performance. Even though the high band value is still high, but they keep the big potential risk to drop, especially when the market went down or in the bearish market. Next is Tenaga and YTL. They have a negative. Also Telkom Malaysia also negative, but Telkom Malaysia is negative all the way, high and low band. So we see also Axiata, even though the high band is about the same as the market price, but the lower band is much below. Like Axiata price is 6.8, but the lower value is only 4.7, even though the highest value is 7.8. But the biggest risk among all is Tenaga and YTL. So next, we see some more deeper in the financial performance of the 10 companies. We lay down the column from earning after tax, free cash flow, working capital, liquidation value, capital expenditure, and then asset. Based on asset, the two banks are very high, CIMB and RHB Capital. And also the spending on capex is very low, and then they still making money even though they spend low in the capital expenditure. But CIMB have a negative working capital, but since they have a strong balance sheet, the number is still positive. Different than RHB, they have a positive working capital, but their liquidation value is negative 17.8. The negative or deficit in liquidation value is so high compared to earning after tax or free cash flow. So that's why their valuation in a low band, coming to negative. Next, we see the Petronas Chemical. Typically for the industrial group, industrial sector, they spend high capex, high capital expenditure. You see, compare to the earning after tax, the commitment for the capital is higher, but not so much. Earning is 4.9, and then capex a little above 5. So they have a very strong balance sheet. We see working capital, and then liquidation value is surplus, and then the surplus is quite high, is high enough to cover any negative, any risk in the top line or bottom line. Axiata also consider typically investment or technology company. Typically they spend so much in the capital expenditure. You see the capex is 4.1 compared to earning is only 2.7. So, but the free cash flow is not negative because Axiata generate other income from non-operating income. So you see, despite capex higher than earning, but free cash flow is much or even higher than earning, meaning that earning generate from non-operating is so much, so it can cover the spending on the capital. So if we see Telkom Malaysia, for example, technology company also the earning is so small, even though they can generate extra earning, but still the free cash flow negative. If we see the balance sheet, working capital, even though positive, but long-term debt must be very high because the liquidation value is negative 8.3. So compared to the asset 22, they are not able to generate so much earning. 22.3 billion compared to 900 earning. If we check again Tenaga and YTL, so even though the asset is quite high, but the spending on the capital for Tenaga and YTL cannot cover by earning, even though free cash flow still surplus for the Tenaga, but YTL negative. But the thing is, liquidation value is so high in the deficit. So if we check next in the financial ratio, we see in the square marked by red line, we check the banking or the finance group, CIMB, RHB. They have a very good margin. CIMB have a ROA is quite okay, 19, but RHB have a very small ROA and very small ROE. Petronas Gas, they have a good margin, 40 and 55, ROA 12, good. ROE 20 is also good. Next, Petronas Chem, they have 18% ROA, 22% ROE, good margin, gross 40 and the net 28. Axiata, the next good things in terms of profitability, gross 21%, net is 15%, even though ROA, return on asset, only 6%, return on equity 12%. So let's finish up this time. We can see in more detail. If you want to discuss more with me, you can just email. In the first page you have my email, setyanto.buddy@gmail.com. Thank you and have a good day.